The Buddhas appear on earth in their innumerable transformation bodies beyond calculation, and everywhere the ignorant following them listen to the Dharma. There's quite a lot in this verse. First of all, there's talk of the Buddhas, not just the Buddha, but the Buddhas appearing on earth in their innumerable transformation bodies. So we've got this thing called the transformation body. Now the Buddha, the appearance of a Buddha in the world is supposed to be a very rare event. In fact, there are many universes with no Buddha. So it's a very rare and auspicious universe which actually has a Buddha appearing in it. But in this verse we're being told that they are innumerable, beyond calculation, and everywhere the ignorant following them listen to the Dharma. The Dharma is the teaching of the Buddha. It's the teaching which is supposed to guide us towards enlightenment. And here the followers of the Dharma, the ones listening to the Dharma, are described as ignorant. It's usually those that aren't interested in the Dharma, that aren't interested in truth, that are described as ignorant. The congregations of the Buddha, those that are sitting listening to, are usually described in the most glowing terms. But here they're described as ignorant. Why is this? So there's a lot here in this verse. I'm going to begin with, however, with the transformation body, because this is another Buddhist doctrine, the triple body of the Buddha, the three bodies of the Buddha, which is one of these teachings which sounds very strange and difficult to relate to when you first hear it. The idea of having more than one body. Is this our experience? Do we experience having more than one body? Well, actually we do. We tend to think of our body as purely the physical body. That's what appears to everybody else. That's what everybody else sees. And we see a reflection of it when we look in the mirror. And if we just stick with the physical body, then we've got an idea of how our body looks. And how our body looks to ourselves is usually very different to how it looks to others. So in this sense, there are two bodies. There's what others see, and then there's what we see, how we see ourselves. And there's a whole body of effort to make how we see ourselves to be in accordance with how we think others should see us. This can lead to rather grotesque results. But usually if there's not too much tension between how we perceive ourselves and how we believe others perceive ourselves, then there's usually something beautiful apparent. So let's get back to the triple body. Because it's not just the Buddha that has a triple body, we all have one. And to appreciate this, we need to get back to our context as enlightenment practitioners. And that context was described previously as the triple world. There's an apparent world out there, there's a person here, there's an apparent individual here who's wandering around that apparent external world, and there's a relationship between the two. This is the triple world. And enlightenment practice, in Buddhist terms, is about applying the threefold training. The central part of this training is what's called samadhi, which is realization. It's awareness of the truth, awareness of the true nature of our awareness, of our essential being. It it's our job as enlightenment practitioners to reinforce this. This is what's called sila, or sila. Traditionally, this is about following particular ethical precepts. Spiritually, though, it's about changing our inner points of reference. Is our inner life still dominated by notions of an external physical reality? The practice of sila is really about transforming our inner attitude, and this gives us the basis for our everyday actions, which is prajna, or spiritual insight, wisdom. And the three bodies reflect this. Our apparent body, our apparent physical body, is the body of transformation. It's the body where work takes place. This is the Nirmanakaya, the body of transformation. There's also the body of truth. This is the Dharmakaya. This is when we're established in samadhi, awareness of the truth. The Dharmakaya is the body of truth, the be-all and end-all. Our enlightenment practice is about realizing this body of truth, the Dharmakaya, as much as possible, as living our lives as much as possible in it. And to do this, we must transform our inner reality. And this is where sila, our transformation practice, comes in. This is the Sambhogakaya. So even after we've touched the truth, we still think in terms of conventional reality. It might be a particular cultural reality. We might believe it's some kind of scientific reality. Science can only ever give us a model. So how can a model ever be reality? But there we have it. So our inner reality, we can really let rip here. It's not the truth, but we can transform our inner life. We create our own personal mythology. We know it's not true, but it's not true anyway. Our inner world is not true. So let's make it the most inspiring fabrication that we can. And this is where you see golden Buddhas, giant Buddhas, lavish depictions of Buddha lands. You don't have to restrict it to the Buddhist context. As an enlightenment practitioner, you can have a Hindu context. If you're partial to Christian symbolism, then go for it. If you're a Muslim or a Sufi, whatever works for you, infuse it with inspiration, with grandeur, or create your own hierarchy of angels. Unleash your imagination, create your own Buddha land. This is what you can dwell on. It might be that you're busy in other ways. Your inner world is dictated to by family concerns, professional concerns. That's okay, that's good as well, as long as that's done in a positive way, as long as you're doing that in a non-resentful and giving way, in a way from which you find inspiration. Perhaps you're a creative type, perhaps you're a musician or an artist, a writer. This is your inner world. What can you do to make it magnificent. This is the Sambhogakaya. This is where our ethical practice should really be taking place. We don't confuse it with conventional reality though. Although we can certainly infuse conventional reality with it, we can be creating giant Buddhas, creating vast temples. Why not? These are representations of our transformed inner life. And this infuses the Nirmanakaya, the physical body or apparent physical body. But we must be careful not to get lost in this. The next verse, verse 41, points this out. But I'll limit this video to talking about these three bodies. There's the Nirmanakaya, which is the physical body or the body of transformation. There's the Dharmakaya, the body of truth, which is completely independent because it's the only one that's real. And there's the Sambhogakaya, which is the arena of our ethical practice, transforming our inner world into something magnificent. It's sometimes called the body of mutual enjoyment. What does that mean, mutual enjoyment? Well, the Dharmakaya isn't part of that picture because the other two bodies aren't real. The Dharmakaya is the only real one, but it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable in itself. This is a wonderful thing to do, to develop this vast, magnificent inner world. That's enjoyable in itself, and it has enjoyable consequences for our everyday life. We're relating to something different, not some dreary conventionality. But we mustn't forget that the point of it is to remind us of the Dharmakaya, which is what verse 41 points out. I'll look at that along with verse 40 in detail in the next video.